Well, it's the morning show, and welcome to the morning show. I am Wendy, and as always, we kick off the morning show with relationships with 360. It's the heartbeat of the morning show. The conversations are real, the emotions are real, and the healing you get from the show is awesome. After we wrap things up by 9 a.m., Uncle Jimmy comes in for the discuss, and after that, we have travel and culture with the man on that. Last but not the least is the portal, and even if it's just for 30 minutes, we give you awesome and amazing music from 11:30 to 12 noon. So honestly, you're in for a ride today. I have with me Barrister Lumide in the building. He's always here to invite, always here to help you. Peradventure, you're willing to be helped. Yes, that's a good point. And today we'll be discussing on the boy and girl child. We'll be having conversations on the boy and girl child. Barrister Lumide, how are you doing today? And what do you have for us today?
Good morning, Wendy. Good
Good
morning,
morning.
everyone. Awesome to see you. Okay.
Thank you.
Good morning to all of us in the radio. We really appreciate you. Thank you once again for tuning in to Relationship 360. Once again, we deeply appreciate. Now, I want to first of all thank all those who called, sent text messages, WhatsApp messages, went to my Facebook, left messages wishing me a happy birthday on Wednesday. The goodwill and love was overwhelming. I really appreciate it. They started very, very quickly. I went to Ajeromi for the magistrate court. Sorry, on my birthday. It was funny. People at the court were saying happy birthday in court.
That's so sweet.
Sweet. Thank you, everyone. I want to appreciate that. I want to also appreciate my family, my wife. I knew she was up to something. On Sunday before, that was last week Sunday, my son in Ife just came in without to surprise me. Then I knew that they were planning something. Thank you for a memorable day. I really appreciate. I really appreciate my family that has supported, my wife in particular, that has made this job easy. I really appreciate it. So, today I would be honoring the 27th of May, which is the Children's Day, which was the Children's Day, a day set aside to recognize and celebrate the unique importance of childhood, highlighting the need to protect, educate, and support the well-being of children. Every year, 27th of May in Nigeria. Now, if you remember, I've been talking about the children, the boy child, since the 16th of May, which is the International Day of the Boy Child, and the role of parents in their fathers' lives. Yes, the role of fathers in the lives of their children, in both the growth and development of the boy and girl child. Research is conclusive that the possibility of abuse, especially child sexual abuse, is greatly reduced with the presence of an active father, meaning that a father who is active in the lives of his children reduces the risk of the girl and boy child, first of all, being sexually abused as children. You remember, 1 in every 3 girls will be sexually abused, molested, defiled before the age of 18, and 1 in every 4 boys will be sexually abused before the age of 12. This study started in 2015 by UNICEF in Nigeria, which showed that Nigeria really has in fact, the highest rate of child abuse in sub-Saharan Africa. Uh, Something happened last week when my son, that is our second son, he's 25 years old, came from Osun State, University of Ife. He graduated last year and since then has started running a private business there. He didn't tell me he was coming, but he surprised me. So it seemed the others knew. So it was a warm welcome. Later that evening, we both sat in the parlor and I asked him how he was, what was on his mind, was anything bothering him. He now told me of his friend, one Olawale Olaji, 27-year-old graduate of the English department, a very dear friend of his, committed suicide the day before, that is last week Saturday. While I was here on air talking about the role of fathers, someone was committing suicide in Ife. Do you know how he committed suicide, ladies and gentlemen? He took a knife and went to the transformer of the street and connected himself to the transformer. Immediately, he caught fire and died. I have never seen that kind of, he didn't go to the junction box or the fuse box of his house. He went to the transformer, NEPA transformer, a graduate of the University of Ife. I said, I shouted, I said, what happened? He said he was depressed. He said both of them were still together 2 days before he committed suicide. I said, what about his parents? He said he had already been diagnosed of depression by a year or 2 or 3 before and was taken by his father and admitted in a psychiatric I better to say psychologist, but he was admitted. I don't want to say psychiatric because that must mean that he's losing years, more or less. And they said this gentleman raps very well, and in fact was just signed up by a record label who gave him about 3.5 million to go and do a video that he was still composing the song. The record label gave him that money to go and better do a video or finish up the song, and it seemed he was okay, but went to commit suicide. So when I heard that he had already been admitted for depression before, I was shocked, and I said, where is his father? He said his father took him to the facility to treat his depression. And I said, no, the father shouldn't have taken him to any facility, but that was a signal for intervention from his own father. I just asked, I said, is his father a clergyman? He said, how did I know? I shook my head, and he went back to Ife yesterday to join the candlelight procession for Olawale Bolaji. May his soul rest in peace. He saw that I was very bothered about it, and he said, Dad, this one just happened on Saturday. That about 7 months ago, another 200 level student committed suicide in the University of Ibadan. University of Ife. That this was a 200 level student, and I was like, what are you talking about? He said, yes, sir, Daddy, that students are committing suicide. Next thing, and I saw that this one was a graduate of the University of Ife, Osuolale Olamide, committed suicide again on the 2nd of January 2024, last year. Then I started going to various universities and I started seeing that students have been committing suicide in various higher institutions. And nobody is taking note that our children are killing themselves by themselves. So I have been just sitting down and reading and going through pages to check on suicide and our children. Our children are now hopeless, afraid, discouraged, and in despair. And later I now found a report that in Nigeria between January and August 2019, there were 13 suicide cases of students in various universities. And the report also added that one particular university had 13 cases of suicide in the same year in one university. 13. Suicide now is the second leading cause of death for teens and young adults between the ages of 10 to 34. That came out in 2023, which showed that 20.4% of secondary school students have reportedly considered committing suicide. That was in what? 2024. Now, according to the medical director, medical social services in Luth, Dr. Titilayo Tade, the suicide rate in Nigeria is 6.9 per 100,000. In another sample of the Nigerian university students, 8.3% met the criteria for depression, with 5.6 having minor depressive disorders, 2.7% with major depressive disorders. Now, I found an article that in Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, among students, 58.2% scored above the threshold for mild depression. This report came out on the 19th of June 2024, less than 1 year ago. And I'm wondering, what the hell is going on? Our children are killing themselves or considering killing themselves. Now, depression is the major cause. Depression. What then is depression? How can a child be depressed who is still getting support from the parents? What should the parents do? Depression is persistent sadness. Do you know clinical depression is sadness that has lingered for 2 weeks? 2 weeks. You are constantly sad. That is the description of clinical depression. Prolonged sorrow. Prolonged sorrow. You are unhappy, you've lost interest in activities that you used to enjoy. You have lost appetite. You are in despair. You are in fear. You are in sorrow, sadness, anxiety. Persistent sorrow lasting for 2 weeks is the beginning of major depressive disorder. Why? The primary causes from our research, number one has been the home where you come from. Especially children raised in domestically violent homes. That is why I always tell you not to give birth when you are in an abusive marriage. The moment you see abuse, I told you, once abuse starts, reproduction must stop. Why? Because the children grow to become depressed. Number two, absence of a father. Those who prioritize their work over their children. Those who prioritize social activities above their family. Those who prioritize religion. They are always there. Church, mosque, every time, and your children are there. Then children who have been sexually abused. These people often consider suicide. Listen, 16th of May, International Day of the Boy Child. 19th of November, International Day for Men. Last year, the theme for the International Day for Men was zero male suicide. Why? Because they found out that, you see, every man was once a boy. And you say they become an adult at the age of 18. So now, from 18, they have seen that men are committing suicide worldwide. So the international theme for last year was zero male suicide. Now let us talk about this suicide. Now, the word that word suicide was first devised by Sir Thomas Browne in 1643. The word was coined from the Latin word suicidium, which means the act of taking one's own life by themselves. Literally, it means the act of slaying yourself. Merriam-Webster defines suicide as the act or instance of taking one's own life voluntarily and intentionally. Wikipedia defines it as killing yourself on purpose or dying at your own hand. Now, in America, I saw that in 2021, an estimated 12.3 million American adults seriously thought about committing suicide. 3.5 million of them planned the suicide, and 1.7 attempted the suicide. Now, suicide is a global public health problem, ladies and gentlemen, and Nigeria is one of the epicenters of suicide in the world. Can you imagine? And I'm wondering, why hasn't the government seen this? That Nigeria is one of the epicenters. Do you know what an epicenter is? I won't even explain. Check it out. Of suicide in the world. But there's no research study in Nigeria. There's no exploration of the epidemic of suicide in Nigeria. The only information available is by published newspaper reports of victims. Can you imagine? General Psychiatry, that is a research journal, collected and analyzed published newspaper reports about suicide from 10 Nigerian English-speaking newspapers between January 2010 and December 2019 and documented 350 suicide reports after screening and sorting the newspapers. Further research in 2022 by a Punch newspaper journalist, Gift Habib, revealed that no fewer than 79 people committed suicide. Victims comprised of 70 males and 9 females. 70 males, 70 boys, 70 men, and only 9 females. Lagos State had the highest with 12 victims, followed by Oyo, Edo, Ogun, and Rivers State. Now, the mean age of reported cases then were 36. How can men account for 80% of all suicides within 9 years? Men. 80%. It's actually 80.6%. So if I'm to round up, it will be 81%.
Just men.
Men. Married men accounted for 51%. Students accounted for 33%. Suicide by hanging, 48%. And suicide by poisoning, 32%. These were the most commonly reported methods of suicide. Now, there is another suicide where a boy he's 27 years old, so he will be referred to as a man.
Yes.
He was just a student. He graduated. I think he was 95, 96 set. Took a knife and plugged himself to a transformer. The conclusion is certain, ladies and gentlemen. In Nigeria, men are 8 times more likely to die by suicide than their female counterparts. The motivating factor of the increasing rate of suicide in Nigeria, number 1, is depression. Frustration, number 2, poverty, family challenges, depression and anxiety, which anxiety has led to a lot of substance abuse, remain the major causes of suicide amongst men. And the funny thing, I was speaking with 1 or 2 religious people last week, and they were talking of this thing where the devil talks to people and causes them to commit suicide. that there is a voice telling them. And I said, I don't agree. That so a voice will just whisper. That means all of us should have died because there are voices every day. And I found that a lot of religious Nigerians have taken the cause of suicide to a spiritual level, thinking suicide is by demonic possession. And a new rave, thinking it was never like this before, but failed to see that it had been happening even in biblical times. Do you know that Elijah prayed that God should kill him in 1 Kings 19:4? Do you know that Jonah also wanted to commit suicide? Do you know that Samson actually prayed to die with the Philistines? Do you know that Moses also asked God to kill him? Jeremiah said God should kill him. In fact, he cursed the day that he was born. Job also wanted to commit suicide. Matthew, then Judas actually committed suicide. Do you know King David also wanted to commit suicide? Rebecca, Rachel, all of them wanted. So suicide had been from time immemorial. Don't think it is a spiritual matter. It is a matter of hopelessness, despair. It is not a spiritual thing. Who are these people telling us it is a spiritual thing? It is not. It is hopelessness. When you feel that the ground should open and you should enter, all of us have felt it. Do I have a minute? Let me stop and we'll come back.
Okay. 99.3, we're going to a quick break, and when we come back, we're still having conversations on the girl and boy child. It's a Children's Day special, and it's an interesting one. You should tune in. So don't go anywhere. We're going to a quick break, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation.
With interviews that matter. Trust your number one talk station to have you covered. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk. It all starts with you. You need information. We need your views.
We'll be right back. Ever since Grandpa's swag retired, he's gotten quite active. You might find him making jollof rice for the family, or doing 50 push-ups a day, or busting some moves on TikTok, or going shopping with his favorite grandson. He's also experimenting new things like wearing Ankara trousers with a white shirt and a cool pair of sunglasses.
There's a period where we have like two.
I'm recording so that we can put it on screen.
It's still the heartbeat of the morning show, which is relationship 360. And before we went on the break, I was saying we were talking about suicide and some of the factors that are responsible for suicide.
Yes, thank you. It's deeply moving to see that we are losing a generation and people are not noticing. People are more involved. Even the so-called politicians are losing their children. The so-called, from every strata. Do you know that suicide does not care about your social status, does not care about your educational level? It is from all sides, rich and poor, educated and uneducated, religious or non-religious or atheists. I was going through these statistics again, and I saw that men accounted for 80.6% of all suicides in Nigeria within 9 years. For starters, the study revealed that married men, 51.8%, students, 33.6%. This was 3 years ago. Do you know that within these 3 years, students are now almost the same with married men? Almost climbing to a 48%, meaning that, can you imagine if it is now 50-50? Before, 3 years ago, ladies and gentlemen, it showed that married men are more likely to die by suicide than the unmarried, divorced, or separated. The conclusion of which is certain: men are 8 times more likely to die by suicide than their female counterparts, and married men lead. Now, students, our children in schools, was it another girl committed suicide because of JAMB? Huh? 5 years ago in Bayelsa, a boy failing his NB exam because he wants to be a medical doctor went to jump into one river in Bayelsa because he failed the exams. Now, let us talk about the cause. In fact, I gave you 4 major reasons. Those raised in abusive homes, the absentee fathers who were busy with their work, making fortunes for other people. Your boss will leave his job, the business, for his children. You are taking all your own time to create an inheritance for another person's children and leaving your children at home. Those that are religious, you are spending your time. Every single day is a church activity where your children are suffering. In fact, your children are being abused. I found a report I presented on the 13th of April 2024. Now, according to UNICEF, 6 out of 10 children in Nigeria experience emotional, physical, or sexual abuse before the age of 18. The Nigerian police in 2020, between January and May 2020, recorded 717 rape cases. 95% were children. Now, look at this. Pulpit homes, I refer to it. That is the homes of those who are consecrated to the pulpit, those who are religious, those who are mosque and church workers, those who dedicate themselves to activities of the mosque and the churches. Our research showed that in 2021, that is between 2021 to September 2023, we found that 1 in every 4 cases of child abuse, especially child sexual abuse of both male and female child, comes from homes with very serious religious elements, meaning they are children of clergy. 1 in every 4 child sexual abuse cases comes from homes with very serious religious orientation. Doesn't it surprise you that the more you think you are working for God, the more your home is open or prone to abuse? The more your sons and daughters are prone to abuse? The question is why? Simply because they neglect their children. They neglect the children and substitute church activity for child activity. What they say is that they are doing God's work, so God is under an obligation to take care of their own houses. How is it possible that you leave your responsibility, which is your children, and say that God has called you and abandon the children that God gave you? As long as you birth a child, it is your responsibility to raise the child. Every animal on the planet raises and protects its young. It's only humans that will leave it and go to church, thinking that in that church is where the service of God is. No, the church is service to the pastor. If you are a chorister and you are singing, or an usher, and you say you are working for God, no, you are working for that organization. Go and read what service to God is. It is not working in a church. God said, well, Jesus said, I was hungry, you did not feed me. I was sick, you did not come to visit me. Depart from me, you workers of iniquity. Service to God is service to humanity, not service to a church or a mosque. And you tell me you are working. I laugh when they say you are working for God. So you think, standing on the road, that means police officers who are standing, passing, What is the difference? Who are they working for? They're working for the Federal Republic of Nigeria. You are working for your pastor and your imam. Don't equate it with working for God. That is not what God called you to do, to usher. There is another thing, there is another reason, there is another life that you are here to affect. There's nothing wrong with being useful in a house. You cannot be in the house and you can't sweep, you can't, so you can be useful. But don't turn around and take that as a substitute for raising your children, protecting your homes. Look at it. Our children are dying, committing suicide. The guy who just connected himself to a transformer, the father is clergy. The other one who committed suicide also last year, the father is clergy. In fact, this same guy had been hospitalized for depression. That was a call. That was where the father ought to have stepped up. The boy did not need a psychiatrist who does not know him to come and be asking him strange questions. He needed a father to assure him. Today is 31st of May. Today is my father's birthday. My father died, it's going over 20 years ago. His name was Lade Jola Tayode Omoshide. In fact, I've never heard any other person bear that name, Lade Jola, except him. That man, I am the son. He's late, I'm grown, there's no need to lie. That man was the definition of a father and the foundation of who I am. It was those little things. He was the one that will attend PTA meeting, not my mother. He was the one. My father was busy. He worked with the Presidential Advisory Committee in the time, he was part of Babangida's time. He had always worked in the presidency. He was director of police affairs at his time at the pensions office in Ikeja. He was busy, but he had time. He put us in Ondo State, Federal Government College, Idoani. Both my sisters went to Federal Government Girls College, Akure. He would come from Abuja to visit in visiting day. The day my mother came, I thought my father was dead. So when I looked at her, I was in SS1 or SS2. I saw her, I said, what happened? Well, because we're not used to seeing her. He would come. He would discipline you. Don't take his love for weakness. Don't take his kindness. He will. When my father is ambidextrous, he uses both left and right. So when he's flogging you with one hand and you jump, you hold the hand, he tosses the cane to the left. He will flog you. So you can't hold both hands, he's stronger. But he will make sure you know why you are being punished. I will not forget one thing. Listen, this is where I was telling my sons. When I was younger, I always struggled for a lot of things. And it was very discouraging. If everybody was doing something wrong, it was when I would do it that they would catch all of us. If everybody is scaling the fence, it is when I joined them to scale the fence that they will catch all of us. But every other person will go and get away with it. I didn't. I would be in examinations. I would do exams. People that copy from me will get a higher mark than me. How is that? And I wonder. So it was very frustrating that I had to do twice the work, and I had this friend, Rotimi. He was always lucky. If it was 41 to pass, he will make that 41. The rest of us, he was just lucky. And I would read, So I told my dad, I said, I am tired. I did jam twice or so. Even 3 times, if I can't remember. And I'm like, I'm tired. Why do I always have to struggle? Why do I would do more work just to get little results. But look at Rotimi. One time, jam. One time, he was just lucky and he wasn't smarter. So I was like, I was venting. And my father sat down to listen. I was just like, why do I always have to struggle? Why is my own different? And my father, when I finished, he said, Shofegbo. Shofegbo means, do you want to hear the truth? He said, don't envy those people who are lucky. They are visitors on earth. They don't live long. Because your trials is what makes your feet touch the ground. You own the ground. They are standing on it. Luck is not a ground to build on. I said, what do you mean I would live long? That is not living long I want. I just want to be successful. He said, what is success without life? That's one, at my young age, I just was about getting into the university. No, I was in the university. He said, you will live long. You know how I know? By your troubles. And you will be, when you find that you are working twice as hard, he said it is for where you are going, that it seems that your life will be a tough one. You are going to be a very big tree that people will take shade in. So your struggle is they are your roots trying to enter the ground. Did I know that I would be doing this? But if I did not have a father that would tell me that, would I not have started smoking, drinking, or committed suicide? Yeah. Why is this life hard? Why did this one commit suicide? He said, things are tough. Things are not working. Things are not. And then I found out that some of my, just before my son left, he said, one of his friends who happened to be related to said he's tired of life without him. He said he's tired of life in school for 4 hours. He was just complaining. So I called my son, so I said, listen, you have someone you can talk to. My son was like, Daddy, when this want to happen, honestly, I thought of committing suicide. I know it at times he walked past the bridge. I was just looking into the bridge that why wouldn't I? Because things were not going well. Look at all of us not preparing our children, thinking life is not easy. You need to prepare them for that. That is the role of a father. To tell them that it is not always every time that you find meat in the forest. There are times the hunter has to stay 2 weeks just to kill one meat in the forest. But when you don't train the child will just stay one day in the forest and say, I didn't see any meat. I don't know what's wrong with this. But then after 2 weeks, one hunter will come with a big kill. Why? Because he has been trained to lay in wait, to study the behavior and habits of these animals and know what time they come out to eat. And he will be waiting. You don't train your children. You think giving them money, sending them to the best schools. Great Ife is, I believe, is second only to the University of Ibadan. Or it is a great university. Going there, saying that you are a graduate of OAU, that is, we are going to the best schools, and they are committing suicide in the best schools, in UI, in Ahmadu Bello. Imagine our children are just killing themselves. One for JAMB, he has not even finished. You just failed JAMB, the girl has already committed suicide. The other one in Bayelsa failed the NB, a medical exam. He could have done it again. He jumped into a river. Fathers, you are missing victims of child sexual abuse. When children have been sexually abused in their youth, in their childhood, it increases the thought, the consideration of suicide. But you know that the presence of a father reduces the risk of child sexual abuse. Every one of these factors ties back to the father. What is wrong with you fathers? Why can't you just see that our children are contemplating suicide, hopelessness? They are in despair. They are in prolonged sorrow. Nothing is working in Nigeria. They are considering, is this how I am going to be? They are walking and crossing the deserts into various countries because of hopelessness. They are being killed and trafficked because of hopelessness. And you have a father who is there drinking and smoking, going to parties, and your children are there. You think they don't know? Secondary school students are also committing suicide. Secondary school. Isn't it one that just killed herself over JAMB? Do you know every year it happens? Every single year. Last year, 5 of them committed suicide because of it. Look at that. But if a father had trained them, if a father was there that a child could go to and say, Daddy, I'm frustrated. Why am I failing jam? And you say that is just I wrote jam. Nobody can even talk to me because I think I am just the example. You are saying, it was late. I got married late. I say I got married at 42. How old were you when you got? Say my own Lori that one, and you are complaining. We did road jam once, twice. We did jam 2-3 times. In fact, I entered school with someone who had done jam 6 times. It's sad, but we move. We move. Fathers, where are you? You better go back home. You work and amass money to take care of a child who will kill himself. At that time, your job, your work would mean nothing anymore. With a child who will be committed to drugs and hard substances, at that time, all your work will mean nothing. Have you noticed clergy children all over the globe, not in Nigeria alone, in America, they are known for rebellion. In fact, there's a symptom called preacher's kid syndrome. Let's go back home. It was Children's Day. How are we celebrating it? Suicide. This time last week, while talking, a child was committing suicide. And I was saying the same thing. Where are the fathers who are supposed to be the role models, who are supposed to train, to build resilience? It is not the woman's job. It is not the woman's job. Don't give the wife a job that she was not meant to do. You are making the women both mother and father. They will be begging you for child support, begging you for school fees. That is where the child is already seeing that my father is not even, school fees na struggle. The father grew up. The father was once a boy. The father had a father. The father had a father. He did not fall from heaven a father. The father had a father. Easily in the olden days, when they see a man of strange, questionable character, the first thing they say is, who is his father? Where does he come from? Tani Babae. There are some certain cases that are exceptions, where the father did all he could, but this child was just a child of perdition, a child of rebellion, a child that will never hear. The father, the mother, the family, they did all that they could, but the child found his way to drugs, found his way to death. There are those ones. I know a few. In fact, we just lost one of them that was given to one of them is a minister. When I say minister, a minister of the Federal Republic, not a church minister. Just died like that. There are a few exceptions. But fathers, you have destroyed the generation. Let me end there.
Okay, we're going on a quick break, and when we come back, the phone lines will be open, and we'll be taking your messages. If you have any questions, we're still on the conversations on the child, on the boy and girl child. Please don't go anywhere.
Let's talk. We need your views. Every minute that goes by, something noteworthy is happening. Candidate doesn't need to be as fit as an athlete. He just needs to have a basic level of health and fitness. Maybe George. Get up to speed with the number one station for talk. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
99.3, your number one talk station. And if you're just tuning in, we're live on YouTube at Nigeria Info FM. We're live on Facebook at Nigeria Info FM. And we're having conversations on the boy and girl child today. Barrister, how are you doing? When you were talking about your dad, I could feel the rush of emotions.
It's his birthday
voice.
today. And I really miss him. I need him to, somebody to correct. There's nobody you can. He died very young. He did not reap. He died 62. He did not reap the fruits of his at all. I wish he just was able to listen to one of my episodes and call me and tell me, you've been here. And I was just going through the statistics again. I presented this paper last year, I think, 3rd of April. I'm looking at it that from every ramification, at least, let's go to the phone line.
Okay, the line is the middle line is 020 277 0993. The only line is 0201 465 7190. I'll call it again. The male line is 0201 277 0993. The female line is 0201 465 7190. And you can send us a message on WhatsApp 080 95 97 5805.
Please, let's hear from you.
Okay.
Yes. Please, let others who have not been able to call, let's hear new voices, let's hear new experiences, let's hear new questions. And please, you can also ask questions.
Yes, and also you can call in anonymous. You don't have to tell us your name. You can call in anonymous.
I'm anonymous. Let's go.
Okay. Hello, good morning. What's your name and where you calling from? Hello. 99.3. What's your name and where you calling from? Okay, go on.
Lord, it make me understand that the church is different from the home. That we have something to do at home. We have our job to do at home, not in the church alone, not in the church. Even by training our children, we are equally serving God too. Training your children in the right way according to the Bible will take you to heaven. If you can gain your children for God, then you are satisfied. You have done what God asks you to do, and God will continue to bless him in Jesus' name. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Okay,
very
thank you.
much. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. This is so
Okay, hello, good morning. What's your name? Where you calling from? Hello. Good morning. Jeremiah, go on.
Good morning, Mr. Jeremiah.
Good morning. It's been a long time.
We thank God.
Really making a lot of points this morning. We please talk to all the father. Many of us seem not to be responsible and listening to voice of reasoning from personal point of view and experiences. Please, I want to hammer more on this. You are really deeping it. Many father are guilty now. Many father are guilty. On the other side, like I used to say, life is spiritual and physical. There could be an area you don't understand or you don't want to talk about it. Whether the question of if it is possible for somebody to hear a voice and naked run to the street, very possible, or suicide thought. I've seen and I've heard also as somebody who is in the ministry. See both sides, things like this, both sides, they treat it both sides. In short, I've seen both sides. They take people to psychiatric prayer. I see people who read the Bible prayer, their depression disappear. So both sides.
Let's thank you very much, sir. You made a point, and I think you veered off point. So you are telling me now that you meet somebody who is depressed and we give him the Bible and then he becomes normal. His father is not there, it is the Bible. So then let us put aside fathers and hand children the Bible and see how the Bible will raise them. You see, when you look at 1 Timothy chapter 3, verse 5, it tells you, if a man cannot manage his own household, how can he take care of God's church? That is the New Living Translation. The King James Version says, for if a man know not how to rule his own house, how shall he take care of the church of God? Let us see another version. But if a man does not know how to manage his own household, how will he take care of the church of God? It tells you that it starts from your home, that you are expected already to manage your home, meaning quality time for children, for your wife, providing not just money, emotional support, confidence to the children. They know their father is there. Do you know the confidence a child has when their father is present? It's not a religious matter. This is proven. These are what voice? Then why have we not all gone mad? We all have enemies. So let a voice begin to call us and all of us just run mad. And that is the problem with religion. You cannot identify a psychological problem, a mental health problem. The Bible tells you right there. Why do you think God keeps saying, do not be afraid, do not do this, do not despair? Depression had always been there. So when Moses was considering suicide, was there a voice? When Elijah was considering suicide, did a voice tell them, even your own assertion is not in the Bible? All of them, David, Jonah, Judas, Ahithophel that actually committed suicide, Judas that actually committed suicide, which voice did they hear? It was a guilty conscience. Which voice did they hear? Even your own assertion is not in the Bible. It is not scriptural that a voice will tell people to start killing them. It is not in the Bible. Where do you get it from? David, Jeremiah, all of them thought about committing suicide, prayed to die. Samson actually died with the Philistines. That was his prayer. Let us stop this religious and look at that. Is why you will not be able to see that your child is depressed, because you are binding and casting, but all you need to do is to talk, to ask him, what is the problem? Why are you afraid? Where is this hopelessness coming from? What do you need? What do you want? And he will tell you that, Daddy, I am tired. Let's go ahead.
Hello, good morning. Where's Marie coming from? Hello? Good morning.
Thank you very much.
Listen to you. I've been listening to you for like 5 years now.
Oh, wow, thank you.
I said my cousin, talk of that he died at the younger age. We have one adage in our place that it means that if a good tree die and leave the root, that root will be proud of that tree. When people see it, they will know that so tree was here. So you are the good root of that good tree. So I thank God for you.
Thank you. Yes,
listen to you. I want to ask you today. The question is, you are very wise. In fact, you are very intelligent. I don't know how to describe you. Why is it that wise person like you, I know that other wise men might be like you, why can't you people set up a like institution? I know before you become a barrister, you go to school. Before somebody become lawyer, you go to school. But when it comes to marriage and raising children, we only learn from our parents. It can't be people form an institution so that anybody that wants to marry and raise children will be going there and train himself before he gets married.
Thank you very much, man. I think we have to. I don't know about that. Can you imagine how the institution would be like? Practically, how would that be? Holding sessions and you need to see my office. It's, when you say upside down, downside up.
So I will come in here and I'll say that it's more like a marriage counseling class. It's more like what people do before they get into marriage. You know that there some churches they do that, some religious places, even mosques they do that.
If you can get me a venue, you know these things cost money.
Oh, of course.
If you can get me a venue and you get people, maybe members of your family or your group or something, and you say you want, just get me a venue, pay for my fuel, I will come.
I think we can even set it up. What she's saying is something that is doable and something that is great. Yeah. We could set up an institute for this.
Marriage counseling.
You get it?
Yes, he already does that.
No, like a proper institute, like a chartered on that large scale.
No, not on that.
Because there's demand for it.
Set it up and come.
It will be my name.
Be the name of, include your father's name, sir. Just give me pulpit. No, not be pulpit. Just give me stage. Give me floor.
I thought you wanted to go to that pastor where they call you pastor.
No. Just a place to stand and talk. I will. Thank you very much.
Okay,
So please, we have like 1 minute to so that time is flying.
Hello, good morning. What's your name?
Could you speak louder, please?
Depression. While I was growing up, I was a perfect example of what is called a depression. I actually have two striking factors that actually triggered the depression. Number one, I have a medical condition, and my parents were the type that don't pay attention to the children. And second, that while I finished my secondary school, I actually have this strong ambition of trying to come further. But my parents actually were the type that always complain there's no money. So this actually caused me, I began to separate myself totally. Everything, I just lost interest in my parents. I hated them. I don't just know what actually happened. I began to separate myself when, usually in the evening, when we gather together to take the evening break. You see myself, I would just isolate myself, go to a corner. And
isolation is one of it. I understand. You separate yourself, not from especially things that used to give you pleasure.
Yeah, so there was a time I wrote an article based on joy. So I was telling people that joy is the basic prerequisite essence of living. I totally love joy. I don't even have.
Thank you, sir. We have just 1 minute. Depression is prolonged sorrow. So by losing joy, you are absolutely correct. Did you hear any voice in your head that was telling you? No voice was telling you, kill yourself, go and die. You were considering that thing that you are talking about happened to me. I actually walked down Third Mainland Bridge, and I don't know, someone jumped from the other lane because I was looking at the water. At that time, I lost my house to a fire. Upstairs was where I lived, downstairs was my office. I lost everything I had in one day. I didn't even have a place to live. I borrowed money. Everything I used the money to do burnt in the house. I was owing, I was helpless, I didn't have a place to stay. Then a girlfriend that I had broken up with 5 months before now came to me again and said that she was pregnant. I said, someone I broke up with in January came in July to tell me. So everything just was there, and I dropped on Third Mainland Bridge and I walked to the side and I was looking at the water and I was in myself saying, Olumide, why don't you just jump into this water? At least those people that I owe money, they can come and carry my cups to look for money. It was hopelessness. It was hopelessness. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Okay, Marcia, this person wants to be anonymous. I feel we need to hear this. It says, good morning, Marcia. As a father, what if you tried everything possible to feed your children, and your wife, their mom, is the one who is encouraging them not to listen? It has gotten so bad that children no longer take their father serious, always sees him as too hard. Their mom always paints a picture that life is not hard and everything will work well provided you can pray. Yet things are falling apart at home.
So, as a father, if the roof is leaking and you have tried and the roof is still leaking, you sacrifice everything in the house in a rain, you just let it be. You always move to plug a leaking roof. When you marry a woman, it is very important that you marry someone who you think alike, who your child raising ideology is in line with, is in sync with. You cannot marry an opposition. You cannot marry your provocation. You cannot marry your annoyance. You cannot marry your resistance. The moment you find out that this woman is anti what I believe, you are raising a child, I told you, first thing you do is to stop having children. Don't bring children you cannot raise or put them in an environment that will be difficult for you to impart value. Then number two, you must reject it with all measure. You must call her family, you must call your family and tell them that this your daughter or this your son is preventing me from raising my child. It is a father's duty. You must make it a big issue because a lot of men have lost. There's a gentleman whose wife just died. Now the issue is that the children don't listen to him because the wife had done enough damage while she was alive. You can't continue. Ojotobari binibin wale. The day you see it, the day it happens, that day it must stop to happen. That day is the day you know that I cannot bring in more children here. And you fight tooth and nail. You can't now, because your wife is anti what you are, then your children will now go to have no manners. You are now defeated. Now you are there. Looking at the children as they grow in opposition to training. Are you kidding me? In that house. There will not be a house. There will not be a home. You must, with all vigor, it must end. The way you would attack it is like you caught her in adultery. The way you would attack that issue. Men, you have to stop saying that, giving their mothers as an example. But you kept on giving birth. You saw how she did this one. You gave birth to another one. You gave birth to another one, knowing that there is an opposition in the house to training. You must not agree. In fact, was it last year I helped somebody take the matter. I took him to a magistrate in the family court. They had to separate. They will split. But that is the problem. The time that the child will be here, the mother will be doing her own. The child that the father, stop giving birth to children in this kind of divided home. You will attack that thing. Which wife will not make me train mine? Is not possible. I will not agree. That is it. That is the attitude. Thank you.
Anyways, despite the fact we're talking about the girl and boy child today, you can also ask any question you want to ask. Any type of questions you want to ask. Despite the fact it's not even related to the conversations we're having today. Marcia, you want to say something? Okay. Back to the phone lines.
We have
Hey, hello, good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Please can you speak up? I can't really hear you. Okay, good. Yes, I can hear you now.
Religious groups, they will tell you anything you want, it will happen as long as you believe. If it doesn't happen, then you're not praying harder. You are insane. And these children hear this and grow up with it. I know my own faith and where I go to. They will tell you that you have problems. But that strength and that teaching that how to overcome the problem that you already have. So when you see the problem, it will pass. If they fail jump, you will take another one. You try again, try again. You understand? So we should be careful where the teachings these children listen to. And then you just go back, oh, it's spiritual. And then there's nothing you can do about it. The devil is fighting me because I'm a pastor, because I've given my life to Christ. No, we should stop all these things because it's not building these children strong as they should be. Please, do you know in Babcock University how many children are committing suicide?
You have 4 minutes left. You have a few seconds left. Mm. 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 Okay,
Thank
you
you.
have.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you
you so
very
much. You
much.
didn't even tell us your input as well. You're about to put it in. Okay, back to the phone. Folks, hello, good morning. What's your name? Where are you coming from? Hello, good morning. Okay, Sunday, you have 1 minute. So just shoot your shot.
Good morning, sir. Amen.
No, that they need to look ahead. Hello, sir.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, we can hear you.
I want to tell you my own life history.
In 1
In
minute,
30
can you?
seconds.
Yes, in 1 minute, can you do that?
I manage myself and I got in very small room and I manage myself, did contribution until I married. Today God has blessed me. The 2 children that I have graduated in a University of Ibadan and did their masters. What am I trying to say? A child should not, because of one condition or other, take his life. Someone that we are already in the university. Why didn't you think ahead? Put more effort, no matter the condition.
Let me ask you a question, sir. Is that what you would tell a child who is discouraged, that he should look forward? Is that what you would, all the forward looking that we have been looking in this country in our elections, how has anything changed? That is not what you would tell a child.
Okay, Sunday, I would like you to stay on
Yes.
the phone call. We are going on a quick break.
Yes.
When we come back from this break,
I
we'll
will take
continue.
a break.
Yes, we're going on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation. Please, Sunday, stay on the phone call.
More conversation, more talk, more right after this. For 3 great seasons, the fans have fought with passion and fire, their best they brought.
We're back on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
And we're back like we never left, and we still having this also wholesome conversation on the boy and girl child. And before we left, we were on a phone call, and I'm about to read a message. I feel barrister. He's saying a few things that's important. He's Rashid from Shumuru, and he says, "Thank you for what you do. My comment is not to give excuse to men. However, it is worthy of note that most fathers who are meant to train their kids are among the almost 60% who are in the suicide bracket. Before their actual suicide attempt, they are broken and fail to train the kids, thus transferring the virus onto their kids. The mental health wellness is crucial for a healthy society."
Fantastic. So that was also one of the reasons. This is opposite what the caller said.
Yeah.
That because he had a chance, he had every reason in the war, he lost both parents. He had every reason to kill himself, but he didn't. So why are people now committing suicide? You fail to understand that nobody has identical fingerprints. Nobody has, even our retinal scans are different. So you cannot expect your triumph to automatically translate to humanity. You are strong. But I will tell you, Nigeria then is different from the Nigeria now. Nigeria then is different from the Nigeria now. Try being a child. Now try that same thing. Now in today, a child losing both parents. Today, try that and see that there will be a total difference. Our parent from Shomolu said that the fathers are also contemplating suicide while raising their children. That is a very true statement. That was why when you spoke, I said the father also had a father. The father also had a father. But you see, we need to upgrade, like programs that keep updating. We need to update. I wasn't born a father. I was just fortunate to have one. And there are things you learn and unlearn, especially pain. You are there to empathize with pain. You can recognize pain. You know your child. Listen, I'm a lawyer today because of my father. I was in engineering. I was in, what is it called? Pure sciences. I was doing further maths, physics, chemistry, biology. It was my father that said, "Olumide, you are a lawyer. The way you write, the way you talk." And that is direction. When a father knows the child, even more than the child knows himself, because the father had been watching for years. The father had been analyzing the child for years. Knows how to. You can't, if you feel suicidal, please, and you feel it is overwhelming, don't give birth to children until you have taken care of yourselves. And it is, you see, depression is majorly prolonged sorrow. It is just sorrow. So people making sorrow a spiritual matter, I don't understand. You are making it, it is a voice that is making you deep. No, depression is prolonged sorrow. They are unhappy. They have lost hope. They are in despair. All of us have had that time that you wish the ground open and you just enter. And at that time, if the opportunity presented itself, it was 50-50. You may or you may not have. Let's move on. I don't want to take the...
Okay, if you're just joining us once again, this conversation is for boy and girl child, and you can ask any question you want to ask. The phone lines, the female and male line are open. The male line is 0201 277 0993. The female line is 0201 465 7190. And the WhatsApp number is 08095975805. Hello, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from? Good morning. Okay, Mecca, go on. Okay.
You are breaking the rules. Go on.
Okay, go on.
Go ahead.
I don't get white hair to bet. Because do you know that one day I enter inside, I dey see money, every time they see money, but I go inside. I go dey think say if say only me dey see this kind of money now, sure say I no go live well. So wetin I know now,
Come and know you is different. That's why sometimes I will just cry only me and she cool down for me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for calling and thank you for your honesty.
Thank you. Okay.
Nothing to say. At least he's saying he knows himself. Now he's discovered.
Yes. Okay, we're back to the phone. Folks, hello, good morning. What's your name? Where you coming from? Hello, good morning. What's your name? Hello. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Thank God. Amen. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Amen. Thank you. Amen. Thank you, sir.
Okay. This person wants to remain anonymous. He says it's not easy to say to men to get your own sorrow. Your words are not kind to men. We're supposed to be strong and still get bashed for a lot. Some of us want kids even if they're sorrowful. It's not a crime to feel bad, but when you now see you shouldn't have kids, it's even more sad.
Am I supposed to, because you want sympathy or empathy, you bring children into more problems than you had? Because you would realize that the children will have more problems than you had. It's just like telling people living with the sickle cell virus that, I shouldn't tell them not to marry each other. Even they know it is not their fault. Those people are the heroes of society. If you know what they go through and they keep living, then you are going through and saying, I shouldn't tell you. Okay, maybe.
Okay, we'll take more phone calls. Hello, good morning. So, where are you coming from? Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Amen.
Yes, sir. I just want to tell you that the way we talk about the religious angle of today, the real problem by barrister is that a lot of people have attributed, a lot of Christians, even on the pulpit, have attributed the attributes of God, who is omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, to that of the devil. They have so much belief that the devil is everywhere, talking to them, following them about. If you go to most churches, every time the devil is after you. I've been wondering how, because the devil cannot be at that studio now with you and in face like here with me. He doesn't have that ability. And so people go on with this notion, try to cage people, make people feel that the devil is speaking to you to kill yourself and to do that. Giving the attribute of God to Satan, that Satan is in Nigeria.
Oh, meaning the devil is not omnipresent. He can be at different places at different times. You are correct.
I went to the bus. I went to this thing. They believe it so much, and that is when you speak to them, they see you. It contradicts what they have believed. They need to know that it is.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. In fact, when you remove those words, I bind you in Jesus' name, Holy Ghost fire, I cast you. When you remove those words from prayer, some people will not have anything to pray about. Do you know that? Do you know that? Because some people's prayer is, I bind, I cast, Holy Ghost fire. Once you remove those phrases, you find out that, and prayer is simply worship. You find that people are not doing, let's move on.
Okay, back to the phone lines. Hello, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from? Hello. Good morning. Please, can you reduce the stuff playing in the background? Okay, go on, please. What's your name and where you coming from? Yes, yes.
Please, we need you to speak.
Speak up,
You need
yes.
to speak up, please. Good
Good
morning.
morning. Okay, go on.
Hello, ma. Is the father dead? Your, your you're better separated because these are factors that affect the children. It's very unfortunate, ma, that you will have to play that role. Do you understand? For example, if for those men who lose their wives during childbirth, they have to play the role of mother and father. Do you understand? So it's just the same thing now. It is not your function, it is not your duty, but life has made you father and mother. So you will just have to do your best. Or also, if you have a brother, if you have a father, well, it's even difficult now because people are molesting other people's children. It's so difficult now to have a role model. So please, God bless you, God keep you. But you have to adopt that you are now father and mother. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mary. Thank God for his blessings.
Hello, good morning. What's your name? Hello, good morning. What's your name and where you coming
I
from?
think this will be the last caller.
Hello, good morning. What's your name and where you coming from?
Good morning.
Very fantastic.
Thank you, sir.
The Lord continue to be with you.
Amen. Amen. And also with you.
Depression is sometimes we ourselves, we also cause depression for ourselves. Let me give you for example, maybe your child failed in the school. You now tell him, come, if you fail again, I will never do this thing for you. That's the child. So we parents, you have to.
We can't really hear you. We can't really hear what you're saying.
Please, can you repeat that in like 15
Yes.
seconds? We're about to round up.
Maybe we should try moving around. That's what he's
They have
saying.
to end this. They have to end this. They have
One more.
last
Okay.
month.
Hello, good morning. What's your name? Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Goes a long way. Save you from depression. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's good. So, yeah, yes. It is not spiritual. It is not. They should stop that. It is not. It did not start when Christ came, because that's when all these spiritual things started happening. In the Old Testament, was it there? It was now when Christ came. People talking as if there were no marriages in the Old Testament. Depression started. Do not be afraid. Do not be dismayed. What do you think dismay is? Despair, hopelessness, prolonged sorrow. You are not happy. Everything is going wrong. And they are comparing you with this person. Your mates are this, your mates have married, this one has children, and you are just hopeless. You repeated a class. I repeated a class.
Same here too.
When people say I'm white, okay, it is well. I want to thank everybody for listening. It's I have to be hard, especially on fathers. We have no excuse. We go through our own challenges. So that gentleman from Shomolu is correct. We go through. Listen, I don't borrow money. I don't know how to. I'm always everybody's go-to guy. But then lately, I had to borrow money from, and I was looking at all through my phone like, I don't even have somebody to call. Do you understand? But everybody will be calling me, and they'd go to, and I felt very upset that I just need some money for 3 weeks. Yesterday I placed a call, and I was saying, how is it that I don't have people? But every other person, they just call this one, your money, and they just get it. But me, no, I was just going through my phone, and there was nobody. And I felt very bad that, you know what, I'm no longer anybody's go-to guy. Nobody should call me for anything if I cannot call people. And they would say, I don't have now. Everybody, I don't even have anyone to call. It was very annoying for me. It was very depressing. I was feeling used. We have our own challenges. But for our children, we must suck it up and give them hope. We must give them hope. Tell them it is okay. Scold them, but tell them it is okay. Scold them, tell them it's okay. I'm very blessed. I'm my last born. I scold him a lot, but he gets over things very quickly. So I'm just, as we scold, we love. As we scold, we love. We inspire. We set an example. Children do not do as you say. They do as you do. So don't think you will tell them one thing and you will behave another way and you expect them to obey what you said. No, they obey what you do. Children do as you do, or they don't do as you say. So you must lead by example. Thank you very much. Yes, for those that might want to reach out to me, please, I'm trying something for the children now. When I'm talking about children, it's not 0 years old. I'm talking of children in secondary schools. And, someone said, do a foundation for it. We need its funds. It is always money. And I don't know how to beg for money, but I just do my little soliciting here on the radio. I want to do something for children. I want to organize, I want to arrange. And also, we have a lot of children that we are paying school fees, we are housing, we are doing. Please support us. I always please support us. Please support us. We are actually talking. We are the ones you see outside. We are the ones who are not inside. We are the ones you see outside. Someone saw me and said, I can't do what you do. You come in person. Yes, I am there in person. I don't send. I don't send the PA. I am there. And this is, we are losing a generation. My number is 0909 3214 942. 0909 3214 942. Once again, 0909 3214 942. Please also make use of this every third Saturday of the month. There is a Purple Curtain program that I host. Please join me at 14 Ogulano Drive, Surulere. All these things are there. You say you want to hear of marriage counsel, come there and talk. Your children are having issues or you don't, come there and talk. I will be there 12 p.m. I'll be 12 noon to 3. Yes, people are asking about the Aderomi Feludu case that I was talking about. Yes, about a church growth officer who beat up a mother and daughter. And funny enough, the church growth officer is over Province 93. The woman that he beat up with her child is the mother and sister-in-law of another parish pastor of the same church in the same province. He beat up the sub-pastor under him. He is church growth officer. This one is parish pastor. How do you... It's a terrible thing. And, we're in court. They are bragging that they have son. No problem. My own issue is that let the church know that this is not supposed to be in that position. The case has been adjourned to June or so. I would announce that. So you come and follow, you see evidence so that it's not as if we are lying. So you come and see, you see the people themselves. Court 6, I made a mistake. I said court 8, court 6. Yes, RNDVA training continues today. Those that have subscribed to our training, We have we will continue today at 12 noon at Shrewdere Kilo. What else? Thank you for your birthday wishes and your birthday prayer. You should have sent me money. This prayer is too much. You should have sent me money. You see some people, the prayers are long. God bless you. I really appreciate. Don't mind me.
Yes.
I appreciate. God bless.
Yes, I mean, it's been an awesome conversation. Coming up next is a Christmas with Jeannie.
Go to your children. Go to your house. Go home. Go and see your sons. Go and see your daughters. Call them now. Are they going through depression? Are they unhappy? Sit down with them today. This is weekend. You are not going to work. Let us begin today. Now.
Have an awesome day.
Coming up. We'll be back in a moment.
You guys committed a blunder.
Everyone says I'm beautiful.
I need to get worried.
You guys committed a
Good
blunder.
morning, sir.
I don't know where
My secret is
he mentioned the name of the boy secret life.
so whether in the office or
And
at
then
home,
made it look as if the boy's father was
anytime,
irresponsible.
any day.
Which is an error. From I follow it. The first, the boy who died, after he died. One major